I'm just gonna put a quick thing in there. It's funny how, like, he's done said this. When you start putting your the whole thing is funk, but when you start representing your soul out to others and presenting it to others, and then how they like judge you and things like that. It's just funny how you know, or with this information, how all of them are just presumed to be manic as opposed to like anything else outside of like maybe a more positive outlook. Just because you're having thoughts and like deeper thoughts than like, oh, should I eat McDonald's? But anyways, continue. You see where? So he brought up the manic thing again, and that's what I'm saying. He's like, instead of manic, why couldn't it just be like he's passionate? So like when they went to see, because all judging is not bad, but when they like judged them negative. They could have judged them positively and said like this is passion, because I kind of think this is passion because I'm an artist, so like I kind of understand where you're coming from, especially when you've devoted as much time as you have. It may seem to the outside that it's one thing, but for sure, like, hey, it ain't that, bro. It's this, and like. But let's continue. Okay, so that's going to be the end of my pages to read. Just a recap of what I read. So basically, started off as like understanding that we are computers, basically, and so I've always had this theory. Um, I don't really like dabble into like other people's perspectives, such as like philosophical ones, all the time. But I've always had this theory like our mind, our brain is a computer, and we have a computer to be able to store what is here onto there. And sometimes you need more gigs, terabytes, and like that if you're processing a lot of information. So that's just the storage idea I had about the brain. And I'm sure that's already a thing because computers and stuff already exist. So someone had that thought already. So that's part of the funk where I'm just now getting in line to what the funk has already got into. So I'm on that thought wave or thought process. I just haven't got to the further one because someone has already thought of that. But I soon could get to that kind of thing. I just got to meet maybe the right person or experience the right thing. And I think that's kind of what he's like talking about. And then we like go on a little further more about the manic thing, and I kind of touched up it a little bit, but I just kind of I'm not one to dabble with negative words a lot. I'm not also oblivious to negativity, but I think judging someone as manic can be a little stretch, especially if you're not like professional at it. But like I would probably use more words like passion, you know, uh, because like I said, I'm an artist. So when I'm creating and manifesting my soul out onto mediums, it can be very exhausting mentally. I created. Let me tell you, I created for like 7 years straight, just like nonstop, 325 days, just boom, 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 boom. And I've now in this period of time where I am just exhausted, fatigued mentally. And then the thought of like creating art almost to the point just like sickens me. And I'm just like, it's kind of, I think I'm interpreting that as like, it it didn't go as far as I thought it would, and so it feels like a weight or a burden on me. But like it's my it's my passion inside the funk, and I think trying to separate myself from it is causing such a resistance where like I can't really move forward because I'm trying to neglect it so bad. And it's like I need to nurture it for me to get back on the path to move forward. And I'm just now realizing that too. And this actually helps bring that into more of a perspective too. So that's kind of neat. But I also been dealing with a lot of other variables that kind of also, I mean, we say variables, but we could say excuses as well. But I'm going to say variables because they have been really, um, what's something when it's like on road and then you get bumped off the road? Rearing, basically. And I mean, I'll eventually get back to it. It's just taking some time. But we can go back to Sean and his theories or his philosophical theories about what it's like. I also believe I was talking about being negative, right? But I'm more on the perspective of where he's telling this person that she's special, which she's special, but she's not special, you know? And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow because when you've grown up and you've been told over and over again that you're special, people celebrate your birthdays and all that. When you have that perspective, having your birthday celebrated and people calling in, people giving you gifts, all that kind of stuff. And if you don't have that, you will believe that it's not as special as you may think. And even when you're getting those gifts, you can wake up one day and realize, like, I'm not as special as I thought I was because we always overcompensate what special means, you know. And when you sit back, and because I'm also an observer of myself, so when you sit back and you observe the funk or the world or life, you just start to realize specially how special, how insignificantly special you actually are. And I don't mean to say that as like a negative connotation towards life. It's just like if I go outside right now, there's like 20 people outside walking around doing something, and like I don't have to say anything to them, and they don't have to say anything to me, and I just seen them for a second, you know, and so like a second in time is just insignificant, although it might be special, you know, because a bird could have swooped down and pecked them in the eye or something like, whoa, but it wasn't. And not to say that the thing they weren't doing wasn't special, you know, they were walking their dog. So in that time in their life, their timeline, it could have been special. But as I say that, I just go to say that I believe you're insignificantly special to the greater scheme of things. For your ego to get through the day to day, then yes, sure. If you want to be called special, claim to be, then you know you may do so. And I understand that can help some people gravitate forward. Um, but outside of that, I think it was pretty interesting. I mean, I've had some thoughts like this before too, man. So I would just say keep it going. Uh, I feel like you have something there. When I first opened this, I thought, what the hell am I supposed to read? Because you were like talking about Portal and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, so this is probably going to be, you know, I don't know, you know. So I was just like, what did I get myself into? But as I further read it, I'm just like, okay, so you know, you've been having thoughts, you've been putting them down on paper, and you just want to hear what other people have to say about it because you strongly believe in this and strongly believe in what I believe too. So it's kind of nice. And I've also, as an artist, because I like the idea where you were talking about how this this PDF or this dissertation is like the connection to other people. And the crazy thing about this connection is like when someone reads it, it'll branch off to someone else because then they will go talk to it. So it's almost like a never ending loop, as you say. So I like that idea. But as an artist, I'm kind of in the same boat. or uh, the idea of like networking. So I like the idea of networking, and I feel like that's just what this is. It's networking. So you created this experience, and so for me, when I create experiences, it's more like a modeling gig or something. So I create the materials, bring them there. I get a bunch of people together from all parts of the city or something. Some people I've never even met before, which I prefer it that way because it's like um, in order to grow, you kind of need to meet different people because then those people, so then their branches touch other people and things like that. So if I'm, if I'm always, if I'm here and this is my people and I'm always, those are my four branches. And so then these people have branches and then these people have branches. You see how that works? So my branch was only four, but these people have three branches. So then their branches are going to meet people, and then their branches are going to meet people. And so it just kind of continues and continues and continues and continues and continues. And it doesn't necessarily have to be three. This is just an example because, and then sometimes branches can sever. Uh, but with everything, right? So and that's the funny thing when I say branches can sever because connections in general never really go away. Once you, I'm going to get a little further. So once you have certain experiences with people, especially of the opposite sex, um, such as intercourse and things like that. This is why some people don't understand the idea of intercourse because you're actually like soul bonding and linking to this person that you are low key attached to them for a lifetime. And some people act on it, some people don't. Some people are, the way they are, and some people are the way they're not. But that is the intention of intercourse. So that's just kind of like a segue to it on how you have certain types of connections and, uh, and how some connections are lasting. But I do believe, it could just, with the whole theory of this creation was given and now it's expanding and it expands only by others. So I like that idea a lot. But yeah, so I mean, I think that's just my wrap up of the whole idea of the funk. Um, Appreciate the read, appreciate the opportunity, and as you are now, present and future and past, Mr. Sean, um, stay true to you, brother, and keep it going. Kevin Burnett out.